I've recently been helping a really interesting client. They're a US headquartered software company and they've recently been moving to do their first hire in France. The complexities of this situation is that they weren't actually having a brand new employee from the fresh market, but they were actually having an employee that was transferring to their business through a recent acquisition. So the complexities alongside that are that the transfer of undertaking regulations actually apply in France. And that's a really complex piece of legislation. It's otherwise known as TUPE, that a lot of US companies aren't aware of. And in terms of how we need to set up and structure employment documentation and the employment relationship is going to be heavily dependent on how that regulation applies. In addition to that, nothing in France is very simple, so we also have the complexities of collective bargaining agreements, otherwise known as CBAs. And a CBA, again, it's a very complex framework which is applied to employment relationships in addition to normal French statute. The main thing then was to actually produce some locally compliant employment documentation for them. In France, that has to be bilingual, so we have the skills and expertise internally to translate and speak to the clients in local language. And we also tailored the employment contract so it fitted in with the business needs in terms of tailoring and bespoking a non-compete and a non-solicitation clause. So that therefore was protecting their business interests as they grew and they developed and evolved in the French market. Also, we used our expertise within Radius to advise and guide on supplementary benefits. And in particular, the French market, it's a challenging market and staying competitive is really, really important, especially when you're new to the country. So we were able to advise on what salary, any supplementary benefits that were applicable to this individual, and therefore they're able to establish themselves in the French market, be competitive, and this helped retain and also attract key talent within the marketplace.